Hey everybody, it's Shelly Joe, the amino acid lady and hypnotherapist, and Dr. Seth again. We're so excited to come to you. We're going to start with the basics on your brain. And some things happen in your brain because we're, perfectly imperfect humans that can cause us to have symptoms and mental things that are uncomfortable. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, it's a great.
Sometimes, uncomfortable may be a really mild word, what you say.
Mm-hmm. In some cases, yes.
Yeah, some are really extreme. So the first one we want to talk about is your neurotransmitters. Oh, that's a really long word, right?
It's a fun word.
It's a big fun word. I'm going to let Dr. Seth actually give you the overview of what that big word means. In my world, it's just the firing chemicals that make your happy, calm, feel-good chemicals, right? Now that's my interpretation. So now, Dr. Seth, it's your turn. I'm going to turn it over so you get to give them how it really works.
So the neurotransmitters, the other thing we call them, they're kind of like those neurohormones. Okay, so those are all made out of the amino acids. So amino acids, again, that baseline of the building blocks for every protein, which again makes every structure, every tissue, every nerve, everything in your body is a different combination of all these amino acids. Okay, there's some that are essential, okay, and there's some that are non-essential. So the non-essential ones.
What is the difference between essential and non-essential?
So the non-essential ones are ones that your body just produces on its own.
Oh, okay.
Which is great. So you don't have to worry about them. They're always going, unless you have some weird genetic thing that's going on. Well, that's just one of those rare, extreme occasions. But the essential ones are the ones that you have to eat. They come from our food. They can come from supplementation, like the amino acid complexes that you use, and things like that. And we have to have them. If we don't have them, our brain and our body will stop producing the rest of the hormone because they're missing that next piece of the puzzle.
Oh, that makes sense.
And so that's kind of what we're talking about. And those neurotransmitters, again, are kind of what we're talking about, the serotonin, the dopamine, the GABA, the catecholamines, all those types of things, whether they're the feel-good, the calming aspect, whatever they are super necessary for the brain, and not just the brain itself, but for each and every complex and situation that our body has to have these neurocomplexes and these neurotransmitters so that the brain knows what's happening. It's a little pathway of signals that are coming back and forth, and yes, they do specific things, but they also give certain signals. So if we start to lose those, everything gets kind of jumbled and out of whack.
Yeah, and then the brain doesn't work the way it's supposed to, right?
Exactly, yep.
Yeah, and I know some people say to me, well, they get this worried that what did I do wrong to get my neurotransmitters to stop working? Well, they can stop working for lots of different reasons, right? Dr. Seth, one is, it could be genetics, right? Unfortunately, some people are born with their neurotransmitters not working the way they're supposed to. Could be stress, right?
Highly stressed.
Highly stressed. Stress, isn't it interesting what stress can do to your body?
Crazy.
Oh, crazy. It could be lifestyle, right? It could be that I know that 40% or 65% of people over the age of 40, their neurotransmitters become depleted, right? Any others that you know, Dr. Seth?
Big one I always look at is stress. Lifestyle encompasses so much because, people can have poor diets, they could not exercise, whether they smoke or abuse certain substances. All those things decrease those. But one that most people who would even consider themselves healthy deal with is stress. One of the ones that I like to look at with that is interleukin 6. It's just a stress hormone, but even after a little argument, it stays elevated in the bloodstream for the next 3 to 4 days. So even though you're not arguing or been in a stressful situation, your body's still dealing with those effects. So think about how many times we get upset and frustrated, and it lasts for longer and longer and longer, and then it starts to affect those amino acids and those neurotransmitters and those other types of things. And stress is, it's all over the place. It's everywhere.
It is.
And we got to find those strategies to help us be able to calm down and keep it under control.
Yeah, I agree. Stress is huge. I also like to tell my clients, we have these perfectly imperfect bodies, right? And sometimes we don't know why they stop working. It's one of those human things that happen, right? Yep. When they do, though, just like we talked about, those happy, calm, feel-good chemicals in our brain that fire, they become depleted. And there's symptoms like anxiety and worry. There's symptoms like stress and perfection, right?
Mm-hmm.
OCD, and not being able to calm down, not having energy, right? I mean, the loss of energy, the loss of focus, right?
Squirrel.
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 Where's the squirrel at?
Exactly.
Loss of drive,
Mm-hmm.
the loss of feeling like life is happy. Your endorphins, right? Those cool, real wonderful endorphins. And when they become depleted, then we have the symptoms. We also have something we go to, because as human beings, we like to feel that homeostasis, right? So when we do, we're looking for that, and we look for it through different things. A lot of them are destructive. Drugs, alcohol, sugars, starches, and we'll go through each of those separately. Just to give you an idea, it could be behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shopping, pornography, gaming, gambling, all those kind of things. It's because you're looking for something to avoid, right?
And it doesn't always have to be something that we think is destructive. I mean, some people are addicted to like exercise, to working too much, all those other types of things that don't technically look bad on the surface, because you're working on your body, you're doing this, you're really putting in the hours at work, but at the end of the day, they're just there filling void because we're missing some other things that are there
in your brain. And the cool thing is when you learn about it, you go, oh, maybe I'm not crazy. Maybe, all I got to do is feed my brain what it needs, and they start firing. And that's what the amino acids do, right? Like Dr. Seth said, the amino acids is you either create them or you get them from an outside source. And we're going to kind of go through each of those in our next segment so that you understand what they are, how they work, how we can feed them, and how we can get our brain to be feeling much better and doing exactly what we want it to do, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And have optimal health and make life just a lot more enjoyable. Okay? So we'll see you again soon.
Of course. Yes.
All right, guys. Thanks. See ya. Bye.